How are we all right?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Good, really good, thank you.
Toby, a few days after that performance on the weekend, what are your reflections?
Don't mention the war. No, obviously it's ancient history now. As I said at the time, far from our best, and all we can do is look forward. So we've done that. We've looked at it, and what about what we can do better, what we can control, and we need to move on and move on quickly.
And that's your sort of first overseas major trip of the season. You're looking forward to it?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice part of the world, and they are a very, very good team now. Rainbow Cup winners, won last 7 out of the last 8 games that they've played. Very competitive side, and the sort of side and challenge we need after a disappointing performance last week.
What needs to improve this weekend, Toby?
I think that we need to approach with a better mentality than what we approached last week. I think it was a bit of an emotional hangover potentially from 2 Welsh derbies. So we need to make sure that we approach it with the right mindset, first and foremost, and then everything else takes its lead from that, really. That's the overriding thing. And if we want to be the team we want to be, we need to build pressure with the ball. So we need to treasure the ball far more accurately than we did last week. They're the sort of headlines for us. And ultimately all we can control is us. So it starts and finishes with that, really.
Got Alex Cuthbert in the mix this weekend, Toby. How much of a boost is that, and how impressed have you been since he's come into the set?
Yeah, good. He's contributed on and off the pitch, which is fantastic. And, we're looking forward to seeing him out on the pitch doing what he wants to do. And, yeah, that's a good thing for us and for Wales, obviously, from a long-term point of view. And hopefully we can keep him out there for a long periods of time on a week-to-week basis, because then, we've got a very gifted, strong attacking weapon, which is a benefit for us all.
What does he offer? What does he offer different from what you've got in the squad already?
Well, I think that we've got a lot of pace and a lot of the ability to beat defenders, but we probably, without George around, miss a little bit of physicality at times. So I think he's someone that can do that, and he's very experienced, so he brings leadership to what is a very young team and a young backline. So I think that those 2 things are great attributes, but just want him to be focused on what he does, and how he can influence the game and get through this weekend.
Gareth Hanscom, you've got Stephen Myler back as well, 2 very experienced options at fly half. Gareth obviously played 3 games. Stephen Myler came back in. Is he good to have that extra option?
Oh yeah, for sure. And obviously we've talked about management of Gareth already previously, and having more resources around that is important. Obviously Gareth's delighted to be involved in the Welsh call up. So yeah, we need to be mindful of that as well. And we'll be in constant communication with everybody to try and keep all of everyone's resources as fit and healthy as we can.
Yeah, Wayne was very keen to stress he'd had long chats with yourself and Gareth about that, so you were all in the loop deciding that he was ready for that sort of step up for the autumn internationals.
Yeah, ultimately it depends. I mean, Wayne and I will judge him from a performance point of view and what he's produced and make decisions around that. Ultimately it's Wayne's decision, not my decision. I can obviously input into that, but it's really the physical medical boys that are need to be very mindful of what he does and how he does it. So no one's going to turn down the opportunity when it comes along. That's what you play the game for, to play at the highest level. And we're looking forward to seeing him back out on the stage, which is sort of the culmination of a very long journey back from what was an injury that prolonged, and it's a good testament to the mental strength that he's shown.
5 Ospreys players in the Wales squad, Toby, a squad of 38.
Yeah.
You're top of the Welsh Shield at the moment. You've won 2 Welsh derbies. Do you think there could have been 1 or 2 more?
Potentially. Again, I can't control that. We can control performances. As we said that we were looking to improve our performance every week. Certain people have put their hand up. Certain people fit a style of play, I presume, as I've seen quoted. And only the people that pick the team know. So look, if you add in the fact that you look at our injury list with George and Tips and Dan Lydiot, etc. I'm not worried about our amount of contributions, because I know when we're fit and healthy we'll contribute.
And if there's one or two youngsters who've done well there, perhaps, and maybe, could have made a squad, do you have a word with them, or is it just sort of business as usual, do this to the Ospreys, and then whatever happens after that happens?
I think you've got to be constantly, when people are expected to be in there and aren't in there, or people are striving to get in there, you have to tailor-make the conversations and support you give them in a different way. We did that with Adam Beard, as I've talked to you previously about. It'll be no different to Nicky Smith, for example, and also the youngsters, your Rhys Davis and Jack Morgans, and people who are aspiring to be there, and Gar Tom and etc. are people that are aspiring to be there and who have had a little taste or are on the cusp of it. So they'll get feedback, I'm sure, at some point from for the people that need it from Wayne and his team. We can coordinate that and what that looks like, but ultimately, if they want to keep knocking on, they've got to keep knocking on the door and be ready for that opportunity. And if they are ready, when that opportunity comes, they'll perform at their best and give themselves the best chance to get in there and stay in there.
And as you allude to, Adam Beard is a prime example of what can be achieved within 12 months.
Yeah, of course. And, he's one of the first names on the team sheet now. So, there's two things that you can control. You can control your own performance, and ultimately your mindset and how you push on. And you have to be resilient because, as a famous coach once said to me, there's two types of certainties as players: being dropped and waiting to be dropped. So, that's part of what we sign up to do, and you need resilience and drive and determination to get to the top and stay there.
Thank you, Toby. Good luck on the weekend.
Thank you.
Toby, it's Mark. It is Mark Orders.
Hey, Mark.
Hi. What is your policy in these situations after a disappointing defeat like that? Are you minded to shake up the side, or do you sort of take the view, perhaps, look at each case on merits and maybe reward players or give them an opportunity to make amends?
I think it depends on the individual situation. I think it depends on the form of the player prior to. I'm not in the realms of potentially shaking it up after one poor performance for sure, because you need to be very consistent and in your approach, and also the communication that you have with players. Some is already designated change, so to go through the numbers of games that you've gone through, and if you've got the opportunity to freshen it up, to keep everybody mentally fresh and hungry and whatever, that's also part of it. And also there's times where actually some people just need to get out of there because they're not performing very well. And, so it is an individual case. But the key thing is the explanation why that is the case. And the players themselves are in control of their own performance. So, it's all those things put into the melting pot: good relationships, good communication, and also a plan to, if they are left out, how they get back in.
Yeah, and what is the availability situation for this weekend? I'm thinking of the likes of Kieran Williams, maybe Keelan Giles. Don't even know if he is injured.
Yeah, no, Keelan Giles.
Matt Prothero, possibly. Did Matt cramp up last week?
Yeah, Prothero, obviously he's played a ridiculous amount of time, so he's recovered okay, which is fantastic. Keelan Giles is not ready. He'll be ready probably in the next 2 weeks. We're hoping to get him some rugby in November. Kieran Williams is available for the first time. Yep, so he's available. Alex Cuthbert, I've talked about, available. Steve Myler, available. Who else? Anybody else you want to know about?
Well, whoever might be coming back into the picture this weekend, perhaps.
Obviously, the people that aren't available. So Adam Beard's not available because of the arrangement that we have with Wales. We've got to be mindful of, as we've said, around game time for Gareth Anscombe. So there's a few things, outliers, that we have to, from a national 38 and from a Welsh club, we have to consider as well. So that's why it's such a melting pot of what we got. And also we want to try and strive to get some consistency. So we did that pretty well from a performance for 2 games. Third game not so well. So we need to bounce back with a good performance and put a team on the pitch that we believe can give us high energy and get that performance back to where we want it to be.
With Matt Prothero, among many players, really, made a few mistakes last week. What is your policy in these situations? Do you tell him to tighten up or keep trying things?
He's got to keep going. Matt Provo is Matt Provo. We want to see the very best of him. And on his days, you say, he's a very potent attacking force, and we want those sort of players. Everyone makes mistakes. It's how we learn from those mistakes and how we prevent them. So the type of training we do, the mental preparation that we do, and that's different for every player. And I think that the cementing of good relationships and honest communication, performance conversations, we all want the same thing. That's what we've got to remember. We want that the player, whoever the player is, performing at their best. So we have to create an environment around them which is engaging and gives them the opportunity to grow and develop and perform at their very best, not just for 1 week, but for many weeks and many seasons. And that's what we strive to do.
With Matt, he does offer you that creative spark as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he does for sure. And the fact that he's played a bit at fullback and played at 10 and pops up all over the place. For me, and actually with him, I think the fatigue was absolutely massive from an error count point of view that you mentioned too. So we've got to protect him in this instance from himself a little bit, because he'll try and do more and more and more and more and more. So he's that, which is a great thing to have, a great attribute from a work rate point of view. But you want to maintain, as with any player, the quality of the performance. So yeah, he's one that we've got to protect from himself for sure.